Welcome back to WonderBlade. We're going to show you how to make the most out of your oscillating multi-tool. This time, this video is going to be jam-packed, so you don't want to miss any part of this video. Now, the thing about the oscillating multi-tool is that it has a lot of great uses, and compared to a handsaw, the multi-tool is very versatile, but with the handsaw, obviously you could cut a lot more. If you're cutting hundreds of boards or thousands of boards, that's where the handsaw comes in. It's for mass production cutting. But when it comes to little fine details and making the most accurate cuts, that's where the oscillating multi-tool comes in handy. You don't want to be cutting with a handsaw in the inside of your home or condo or wherever you live. That's going to create a lot of dust and debris. The oscillating multi-tool creates very little debris. All the dust and debris goes, most of it goes in a downward direction. So all you got to do after you're done is just use a little vacuum and just sweep up the little mess with the oscillating multi-tool, which isn't exactly the case with the handsaw. Now, if you don't already have a multi-tool or you're thinking about getting an oscillating multi-tool, one incredibly great use of the oscillating multi-tool is that you can cut through small corners. But before we dive into that, let's always make sure to wear some type of gloves so the multi-tool doesn't go around and accidentally cut your hands, and then also glasses so that debris doesn't come in your eyes. These are impact resistant for indoor outdoor use. So we cut right through it. Now we're going to cut like this. Trying to get it in place so I can cut it well. Okay. See, like for example, that's what the oscillating multi-tool can do. You could cut out pieces like that, and it's very simple to keep on doing that. I'll show you again. So again, you can keep on doing this over and over again, and that's one great benefit of the oscillating multi-tool is that, you know, this is something that a regular saw can't do. And it's safe. I mean, there's not that much debris. It's only a little bit of debris, and you can vacuum that up pretty easily. Now with the oscillating multi-tool, what it can also do is also cut off some nails that are just sticking out. Maybe you're in your roof attic and there's nails sticking out, or there's nails sticking out in a place that you don't want nails to stick out. That's where the oscillating multi-tool comes in handy, but you need the right blade. I mean, you could use a regular standard blade that most tool companies give you, or that also are sold in stores. We'll just show you an example. These don't really cut nails that efficiently. Yeah, I mean, this blade doesn't exactly cut through nails. You could see it wore off the teeth, and this nail didn't really cut the nail. That's can be disappointing, but that's where this special oscillating tool blade from WonderBlade. This one is a high strength carbide oscillating tool blade. This can cut just about any material except concrete. I mean, unless you have a concrete saw. I mean, that's extreme materials, but it could cut just about everything else. It's going to cut. It cuts through nails like butter. I mean, look at this. Flush cut. Blade is still intact. All the teeth are still intact. And that's one great use of an oscillating multi-tool. Look at that, flush cut. I mean, you could use a sander to kind of sand it down, but for the most part, it's flush and you don't have to worry about poking yourself with nails. Now with the oscillating multi-tool, another great use is sometimes there could be bolts that are sticking out, whether if you're putting in a dishwasher, for example. Sometimes there are bolts that stick out, or you just need to cut it without creating a lot of debris, and you don't want to damage any material or the wall behind it. That's where the oscillating multi-tool comes in handy, but you don't want to use your standard blade. If this didn't even cut through nails, it is definitely not going to cut through bolts. So we're going to show you cutting through bolts, and it's going to make this flush. It's going to be a flush cut. Also note that when making a cut like this, it's not going to take 5 seconds or 3 seconds. It's going to take at least a little longer than that, but with the precision of this tool, it will be done, just not in 3 seconds. It will take a little longer, but sometimes good things come to those who wait. Wow, look at that. Such a precise cut, flush, and the blade is still intact. All teeth are still intact, as you can see. That's one great benefit of the oscillating multi-tool with the right blade. And we're also going to cut this one as well. This, again, it could cut through numerous materials and over again. We'll just cut this one just to show you. And when making a flush cut, for example, just keep it at least at level to some extent. I mean, if you try to cut in this way, it's not exactly going to be a flush cut. You want to try to be level to the material as possible, but you don't want to cut in a downward direction or upward direction. Just keep it flat. And also don't go crazy and go at the maximum speed setting, because that would reduce the life of the blade. And then also it could jitter everywhere. So try to keep it, if the maximum setting is 10, keep it at a 7, 6, 7. Again, another flush cut. As you can see, all the particles of this bolt, it's actually a concrete screw, not a bolt, but which is even tougher than a bolt. But anyways, look at all this fine dust. That all came from the concrete screw. Just a lot of, and that's the thing about the multi-tool as well. You could just clean it up with a small vacuum or use a broom, and then you're done. You can't exactly do that with a regular handsaw, because that's gonna, all that debris right here is gonna go everywhere. So that's another benefit of the oscillating multi-tool. And as you can see, all the teeth are still intact. Just everything about this tool blade is just so wonderful. And it's just so amazing. It cuts through so many different things, whereas a regular standard blade that you get from, you know, your local store, Lowe's or Home Depot, or even the ones they provide with you with the tool, they're not built for longevity, and they don't really cut through anything. And this didn't even cut through nails. This certainly won't cut through concrete screws, which is an extreme hard and tough metal. Now we're going to get into something that's more hard. This is called hardy trim. This is about an inch thick, and this is a fiber cement material, which obviously a standard blade is not going to cut through. Again, we're going to use this same blade, but also, you know, we want to teach you also how to cut some fiber cement board like this that's pretty hard, and it could be difficult to cut with an oscillating multi-tool, and we're going to show you exactly how to do that. Before we start cutting, always make sure to wear your safety glasses. Again, these are impact resistant, OSHA approved. And then some gloves so that the oscillating multi-tool doesn't accidentally cut your hand or finger. And that's another thing as well with the oscillating multi-tool, is that unlike a saw, if it does jitter and accidentally, you know, hits your finger or something, it's not going to do any significant damage like a saw. I mean, a saw, you know, you definitely don't want any body parts or your fingers near it, because that can be fatal. With an oscillating multi-tool, it's pretty safe. Actually, the invention of the multi-tool was for medical purposes, for cutting off casts. In our previous video, we also show the history of the oscillating multi-tool. So the oscillating multi-tool in the medical industry is actually still used today, but that's in a previous video. You can check that out in a link down below. So when cutting something like this, you want to make sure to sort of cut it at an angle like this. You don't want to cut it straight on, because obviously you're not going to have enough room. This blade isn't 12 inches long, so you want to cut it in a diagonal direction. As you can see, all the teeth are still intact in this blade, and that's a clean cut. Look at that, just absolutely phenomenal with that. Yeah, this did move around. You have to hold it down. If you're screwing this, it's best to have someone hold it or screw it down or something, because it can tend to move. So whenever you're cutting something like this, always make sure you have a clamp or something to hold the board, because it is quite difficult to try to cut with the oscillating multi-tool with one hand without having 100% accuracy. It can be very difficult. With two hands with the oscillating multi-tool is the best way to have the most accurate cut.